respiratory illnesses.
Food system impacts, respiratory diseases, respiratory health, and mental health effects, respiratory health. The impacts of climate change is irreversible. Millions of vulnerable people, respiratory health, bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of productivity, and other illnesses. These realities are as real as irreversible. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about receiving irreversible passive multimedia and live respiratory illness. Any irreversible task ever undertaken to combat climate catastrophes to prevent irreversible damage. Events, empowerment, respiratory on the way from unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580 respiratory illness. Don't prevent irreversible damage. We level up. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage.
We're locked in to RCP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage.
No.
Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent
Understand
irreversible damage.
rematch.
Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible
Do
damage.
it. Listen, before we get into all of that, we're locked into RCP with Jill Munroe, KBLA Talk 1580.
Respiratory illnesses.
Here
Used to prevent
for
irreversible damage. Heat illnesses.
So,
Respiratory
before we
illnesses.
get into
Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat
and
illnesses. Respiratory illnesses.
going on with
Used
him,
to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible
we
damage.
gotta shout out Cameron.
Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible
A
damage.
year ago,
Heat illnesses.
got his shot
Respiratory
in the
illnesses.
alarm,
Used to
right?
prevent irreversible
Got his
damage.
DMs
Heat
after
illnesses.
everything happened.
Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent
And,
irreversible damage. Heat
No, it was
illnesses.
long.
Respiratory illnesses.
Called in the
Used to prevent
other
irreversible
Take a little
damage.
French in
Heat
there.
illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory
Put
illnesses.
his game down.
Used to prevent irreversible
Leo
damage.
was caught by
Heat
TMZ
illnesses.
cameras.
Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage.
You know, whatever, right?
Respiratory illnesses.
Well,
Used to prevent irreversible
I mentioned
damage.
over the weekend at
illnesses.
Rich Paul before the
Respiratory
second
illnesses.
birthday party
Used to
for the
prevent irreversible
West
damage.
Hollywood. They had
Heat
a
illnesses.
90s theme.
Respiratory
Saw
illnesses.
LeBron,
Used to prevent
Savannah,
irreversible
everybody. They
damage.
definitely had, you know, the backdrop of
Respiratory
the
illnesses.
Cadillacs and the
Used to prevent
buildings.
irreversible
That is the
damage.
lifestyle.
Heat illnesses.
Rich and
Respiratory
43rd.
illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses.
I'm not sure.
Used to prevent irreversible damage.
But,
Heat
you know,
illnesses.
the alarm was
Respiratory
invited.
illnesses.
And then
Used to prevent
Cam got
irreversible
the invite
damage.
too.
Heat illnesses.
And
Respiratory
some was
illnesses.
speculating
Irreversible damage.
that really
Illnesses.
it was
Respiratory
all an
illnesses.
intricate plan designed by LeBron, because if you recall about a week or two ago,
Used to prevent
LeBron
irreversible
and
damage.
Ted got into it when the Lakers and
Respiratory
Lakers played. And
Used to
Ted
prevent
was
irreversible
like,
damage.
take that stuff out of here, little boy.
Respiratory illnesses.
So,
Used to
what
prevent
better
irreversible
way
damage.
to get under somebody's
Respiratory
skin,
illnesses.
right,
Used to prevent
than to
irreversible
invite
damage.
their ex,
Illnesses.
child mother,
Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible
and the
damage.
rapper who is
Illnesses.
flagrant,
Respiratory illnesses.
known for getting at
Used to prevent
women, and
irreversible
trying to
damage.
make a love connection happen at Rich's birthday party. That's what the street is like.
Respiratory illnesses.
LeBron
Prevent irreversible damage.
do you believe that that's what happened?
Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses. Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible
See, I
damage.
feel like LeBron got some petty in it.
Respiratory illnesses.
It could happen, maybe.
Damage.
So, here's the thing though, when
Respiratory
they,
illnesses.
because, you know, Mason Cam talk, right? And so on the show, when Cam was sharing about his new video, because Cam was being big, making sure that you guys understand this.
Used to prevent irreversible damage.
Anything to do with food.
Respiratory illnesses. Used to prevent irreversible damage.
He did say that he gave Nia his number, and Mason was like, who are you right now? Don't give your number to them.
Respiratory illnesses.
But he said that Nia is different, and that's why he gave her his number. He's like, you need to get her number.
Prevent irreversible damage.
Hoping that she calls. You know, they just push the
Respiratory
through,
illnesses.
and that's about it. It wasn't nothing too deep, right? But he's hoping she'll call, right? And he was like, you know, did you get it? She was like, oh, whether it was sweet, whatever. And he is very gracious. Cam was very kind. And it was a little blushy about it. But what he did say, when they asked him if he thought that he was, you know, being set up, if he was being put out there as bait, Cam's thought was, use me, if that's what you guys did. I have no problem with it. So, I don't think that Cam and Nia would be a bad connection. Just because I just think that people ultimately sit on that. You know, she might play down there, but she's not going to take him seriously. And let me tell you why. Maybe, I'm going to tell you why. It is all in how you present it, right? Jeezy's not still running around playing the card game with his boys, right? Right now, Kim is hot, right? And not that he hasn't been hot, but Kim is hot right now. Hot fire. He's in those streets, right? He's still, you know, talking about his old times, you know, running trains on girls and having, you know, strippers sometimes. So I'm not mad at it. All I'm saying, though, Nia is 52 years old, right? Kim is about, and not that it's about big of a deal, because Ime's younger than her as well. It's not like she hasn't dated younger, I'm not saying that. But I just don't think, even if she's in the I'm having fun zone, I don't think Cam's having fun. I don't think she has the patience for that. You know, if this was maybe 20 years ago, okay. But right now, I think she wants a little maturity mixed in with her. But, but I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the pictures, go check out Cam's Instagram. Go check out Nia's Instagram, because she posted it too. Which, you know, Nia's a Scorpio. Let us not forget. So, maybe a little petty all the way around, because really, not that you get Hollywood, anybody can be at anybody's party at any given time, but really, Nia's like hanging out with, you know, Rich Paul, LeBron, and Adele and company. Again, not saying that she's doing it, or she shouldn't. I'm just saying. They don't seem to have been in her party rotation. Maybe a tad bit of petty in it, but, you know, all in good fun, nothing too serious. Look, when we come forward, we're going to get into this Anthony Edwards story. The details are crazy, but I'm sure you know. So, all of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 15. Maybe.
programs to set them up for success. At Milton Hershey School in Hershey, Pennsylvania, we make that a reality for children from qualifying families who are looking for greater opportunities. Milton Hershey School enrolls students from pre-K through 12th grade from across the United States to live and learn on a beautiful state-of-the-art campus with all costs covered. Are you looking to set your child up for success or know a child who could benefit from Milton Hershey School? Learn more at mhskids.org/admissions.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions because we've got your black. Listen up. If you're one of the more than 100,000 California tenants who were rejected or delayed when applying for COVID rental assistance, you've got a second chance. Under the terms of a new settlement, California's Housing and Community Development Department agreed to audit its past denials. The program ended in March 2022, but the advocacy groups Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, Policy Link, and Strategic Actions for a Just Economy sued the department. According to the coalition's analysis of state data, the department rejected nearly 30% of all applicants. Under the settlement, the department agreed to clear all renters in the pipeline within 6 months. The settlement applies to anyone who sought assistance from the state's Housing is Key program before April 1st, 2022, whose applications is pending or was denied after June 6, 2022. Tenants who have questions about the status of their application can call the hotline at 833-430-2122. That's 833-430-2122. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, welcome back in. Okay, so I am going to ask a question that I have been asking for the past probably 20 plus years. Probably since I first heard about that Sports Illustrated interview with Sean Kemp on the cover, and it had the little brown baby asking where the daddies are or something like that. Listen, what is wrong with condoms? They even have condoms that feel like skin right now, right? So, you're not just feeling latex. You're feeling, something that feels closer to skin. We are very advanced as far as technology in 2023. I don't understand why you don't pay. How much are condoms? I don't even know. Less than $10, I would assume, right? Certainly, spending that is much more efficient than what happened with Anthony Edwards. So, Anthony Edwards, he plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves have an outstanding record right now, right? They're looking like they're going to be pretty solid in the playoffs. It's still early in the season, though. We'll have to see what happens, But good season, right? Anthony also recently announced that his girlfriend, who has an older child by rapper Chief Keef, but that's another conversation for another day, is pregnant and they are expecting a child together, right? Well, recently an Instagram model, a popular girl, I don't know if she's, we get the term Instagram model, but listen. Anyway, this girl, her name is Paige Jorday. And she recently showed a bunch of, I don't know if they were DMs or text messages. I believe they were text messages between herself and Anthony. She said that Anthony allegedly forced her to terminate her pregnancy. And she provided the screenshots as evidence. So In the exchange, right, Paige has more than 1 million followers on her Instagram account. So it's not like she put these things up and, nobody would see them. That's quite a few people, right? She shared that basically Anthony told her, yo, I don't want to have a kid right now. I think the silent part that was missing from the text messages, which, is with a lot of people, with you. I think the with you was missing, right? But regardless, they hadn't known each other that long. He told her that he would help her out, right? If she took care of it. And, she sent the pregnancy test. He responded with basically, hell no, we can't do this, right? He told her she should get rid of it because he didn't want a child. And he also said that he would take care of her if she sent a video providing proof of her taking the right pills. We're talking Plan B here, right? So she also included in these release messages a screenshot for a wire transfer of $100,000 that Anthony was going to pay her not to continue on with the pregnancy. So, of course, people are like, well, why are you exposing him? He gave you $100,000 and blah, 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 right? Well, if you look closely at the story, because she's accusing him of manipulating her and, basically not being a stand-up type of guy. I'm assuming she didn't know about his girlfriend. I'm assuming she didn't know that his girlfriend was pregnant. These text messages were from November, not too long ago. But here's the thing about the $100,000 wire transfer. And, the text messages are funny. He kept saying, send video, send video, send the video, like over and over again. I got a feeling that's going to be dropping in some people's texts. Not necessarily for this situation, but just for something. And she wouldn't. And she was like, oh, I was asleep. Oh, I'm going to send the video. But if you look closely, the wire transfer says pending. So it looks like he convinced her to take the pills, provide video evidence, but did not uphold his end of the bargain of giving her the $100K. Of course, in the text messages going back and forth, she says his lawyer stopped talking. She was like, oh, you're just going to ignore me now that you've seen the video. And he was like, I think it's best that my lawyer handle it now. But he wasn't doing that before. All of this could have been avoided if you just had utilized a condom. Really. Anthony just signed an extension this summer. He's only 22 years old, mind you, okay? A $200 million extension he signed this summer. So, I mean, $100K, I'm not counting your money. But what I am saying is, I hope that you would just go ahead and pay this young lady the money that you offered her and keep that thing rolling. Because now you're having to make public statements about a private situation just because you didn't want to wear a condom. This is what he issued on Twitter earlier today. I make comments in the heat of a moment that are not me and that are not aligned with what I believe and who I want to be as a man. All women should be supported and empowered to make their own decisions about their bodies and what is best for them. I am handling my personal matters privately and will not be commenting on them any further at this time. Boom. So check it. Here's the flip side of that. He said to her that he wasn't ready to have a child. Now, as I chastise him for not being proactive and not protecting himself, and also the young lady who said, I don't really believe in abortion, but you're having sex unprotected. We know where that leads. Come on. I also will say, Anthony, Pay the money, and then you wouldn't be talking about any of this. What did you think was going to happen? You thought you were just going to be able to snake her and it just go away? You know how this works. You know what the exposure game is. When you're dealing with someone that has 1 million plus followers, what does she have to lose by exposing you? Absolutely nothing, right? And here's the thing. He's not the first, last, or only one that has, put out money for exchange for moving on from the situation. We know, I don't know if you remember the story of a couple of years ago. I guess it's been like 8 or 9 years. Paul George and his now wife, Daniela, PG, offered her $1 million to move around with that pregnancy, right? He did not. They're also, and in case you think it was just, black players that engage in this, I mean, there were rumors about a certain LA center that was popular that also maybe paid someone $1 million back in the day to move around with the child, perhaps. But JJ Redick, he's pretty popular, right? Old Man and the Three podcast. A few years back, there was a woman who was suing Shaq, also mentioned JJ in this lawsuit. He had an abortion contract with this woman as well. Her name is Vanessa Lopez. And in exchange for proof that she had gotten an abortion, should she have gotten pregnant, right? JJ would have to maintain a social and or dating relationship for 1 year after said termination of pregnancy. Otherwise, he would have had to pay Lopez $25,000. This happened in September of 2007. There were a series of emails that went back and forth between Redick and his attorney, Greg McNeil, and a financial advisor named Jeff Silberman. And they debated about the exact wording of the contract, how it should be presented. McNeil proposed to offer Lopez 2 different versions, one with a relationship agreement and one without it. The former was eventually signed, the relationship agreement, before Lopez terminated the pregnancy before the procedure. Listen, she was accusing Shaq of some things, and that's how this came out. JJ was mentioned in this as well a few years back. They signed the contract on September 13th, 2007. And then she went to a clinic in Orlando, and they had the documents from her pre-exam and the situation that happened in between. She was asked questions about her mental state, right? And, they identified, once she went through the process, how old the fetus was. They gave the information, and they paid in cash for the cost of the termination. And then 4 hours after a timestamp on her receipt, she received an email that she provided documentation for their contract, and she was sent $25,000, but I think he opted and tried to get around sending it to her, and so it ended up in a legal dispute. But listen, it's not like we haven't seen these stories time and time again. It's not like we didn't watch just what happened with Zion and the adult film star individual, right? Why? And I get it, you guys are young, but why? What is so wrong with a condom? Forensic accountant says unprotected sex is overrated. Is it overrated because of what can come to it? Is that why you're saying it? Is it a mind thing? I don't know. Andy?
These individuals need to have condoms. They need to have plan Bs with them.
Yep.
If you're going to go raw dog, pull out, homie. Pull out, homie. Don't just think just because you got millions of dollars that you could just easily just be like, I'm going to just front you some bread. Bro, that's $100K that, you know what I'm saying? You could have bought Christmas gifts.
Your girlfriend's gonna be mad. I bet you his girlfriend is steaming right now because she's pregnant and she's having, maybe she already knew. But as I said, she has a baby with rapper Chief Keef. So of course, people are, and she's older. I think she's 30. Anthony's 22. And I'm not sure how old Chief Keef is. So, there's conversation around that. But, I don't know. I don't understand, what the problem is. It's nothing. You could get those skin ones.
I think it's just accountability. And I don't know. He doesn't have fear. For me, I was terrified of getting a girl pregnant. I was more terrified of getting someone pregnant as opposed to catching something. So, for me, I remember there used to be hella times where, I had opportunities to, get it down, but I wasn't strapped. So I was like, as much as I want to, this is a hard pass. And after those few moments, I always stayed strapped just in case. And I'm like, you guys are millionaires, dog. Like, y'all could easily just...
No, you can... Listen, I didn't realize, that you could use Uber Eats to get condoms? There's really no excuse anymore. You can get them delivered to your door, right? There is no reason that you should not be protecting these things because now you're mad. And now you're like, these women just want me for my money. Well, you're making it obvious that you don't really care too much about it either. So what are we really saying here? If you really value your health, your money, you're going to take care of it, right? You are more selective with who you buy drinks for in the club than who you're letting the shooters go wild with. I don't know. I want us to do better. I want us to do better. And
not to make excuses for these individuals, but I'm just going to assume that, they take that chance only because a lot of these women that they're probably dealing with are probably women that they haven't dealt with growing up. So they're probably fulfilling fantasies and they just wanted to feel something.
I understand that. But I mean, one, you could get a BBL booty anywhere at this point in time. They are literally falling off the bone. You don't have to go hard. No disrespect to Miss Lady, but I doubt that was just the most irresistible piece of young lady that he had come across that he could not. And Anthony's a very nice guy. I met him, and he's funny. I met him at the Netflix, what was the movie he did with Adam Sandler? Hustle. Yeah. So I met him at the Hustle premiere. I guess that was like 2 years ago or so. But listen, protect your swimmers. That's all I'm saying. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. I got a G League player that might have been trying to dip off into something else that is now facing murder charges. So we'll get into that on the other side. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
From the you could have been somebody. We could have been somebody. Was it on the first party when we tried to burst my leg?
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The National Museum of African American History and Culture will open its first Kwanzaa display next week. Museum officials will have the display in Heritage Hall from December 26th to January 1st. Created in 1966, Kwanzaa is a 7-day celebration that begins the day after Christmas and is rooted in celebrations found in cultures throughout Africa in both ancient and modern times. The families of 2 women who were killed in Bridgeport, Connecticut on the same day 2 years ago are suing the city for over $30 million each. The families of Brenda Lee Rawls and Lauren Smith Fields were not notified of their deaths by the city in a timely manner after they died in December 2021. The lawsuit alleges that the city did not make a prompt notification of the families because the women were black. The state has passed a law requiring prompt death notifications in response to these cases. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
California Baptist University has clinched the #1 spot for career preparedness and an impressive #2 for the best student experience, according to the Wall Street Journal. Find out how CBU's award-winning experience can help you live your purpose. Visit calbaptist.edu/here.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Did you know that every year, public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Go to donorschoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, music, and more. Learn more at donorschoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom. Build a future.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
favorites from TLC. Listen, I'm pretty. They're not on my favorites list, but they're dope songs, dope videos. I understand the point. It's not my favorite. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here at KBLA Talk 1580. Andy's giving me the thumbs down. He disagrees. He said, I don't like...
you tripping.
I don't like music
Banger.
that enriches us. It's like, listen, I understand why it's a banger. I just do not care for it. I don't know why.
But you rather hear Act Bad, huh?
Act bad, act bad. You know, there is a time and a place for certain things. That's all. But there's never a time or place for waterfalls for me. But I do appreciate it though.
Can I say this real quick?
Yeah.
I know we going hard on Anthony Edwards, but I got to go a little bit ham on the lady as well too. And I'm going hard on her more so just accountability. Obviously,
exposing him, yeah.
Not even the exposure, more so like. So I'm putting both of them together. Both of them needs to be held accountable, right?
Facts.
It just goes to show, like, they obviously didn't have any conversation about repercussions. You know what I mean? I just think as a woman, I'm not a woman, I'm a man, and you know, I stand to be corrected. I welcome the pushback because I know I'm not a woman, but I just feel like as a woman too, knowing the potential risks of obviously, you know, having sex with somebody unprotected or whatnot, I think you should know the potential consequences. Now, if you're okay with having sex with an individual getting pregnant, no issue, then fine. But I think it's something that you should at least bring up, like, hey, we're about to engage in this activity. I'm just letting you know, something goes down, I want to keep it. Like, put that out there before y'all engage in it. You know what I'm saying?
You are right about that. I feel like the conversation is avoided because he doesn't want to know. She might be the type that wants to keep it, and she doesn't want to let him know. I'm going to keep this.
But Anthony, you should want to know.
I agree.
Is it that bad that you don't want to know? You're just like, I'm going to engage in the activity. Like, come on, bro. Protect
I'm sure
yourself,
he probably thinks he could, you know, throw some money at it. And here's the thing. I bet you he picked that up. And when I say this, like, I'm sure, I don't know what vets are on the Timberwolves right now. I don't know who Anthony Davis connects with. He's an Adidas athlete, so we don't really worry too much about them.
Ain't no
I'm
vets
just playing.
Other than Gobert.
But my point in saying that is I'm sure he has a vet, a big homie in the league that was like, offer her some money, pay her off, do this. You know what I'm saying? To end the problem, but we don't talk about the beforehand. For me with her, like she was sitting there saying, so you just don't care? Girl, how long have you guys been dating? Be for real. Because this is the thing that doesn't make sense to me. You don't believe in abortion, but you're not doing anything to protect yourself from getting pregnant? Sounds really convenient to me. And again, not like that, but real talk, you should have had him slide you, $25,000 before the video goes up. We hit the video off. After the first pill, another 25. And then when I take the final one, give me my 50. And that's 100,000. And that's how the payment structure should have gone, you know. But it did not. Kendi says these players are kids. They are almost being preyed upon. They have no experience in real life relationships. I'm going to push back on them being preyed upon. Not because I don't think that people aren't targeting them for their money, but I also think that what people often discount, we talk about it, but we don't really think about it. Most girls want the bag, and if they can, the relationship too, if we're talking about that. So they're going to be agreeable. Even if they are preying on them, things really only get vicious when, here's the thing. A lot of people are okay with being used. What they're not okay with is being discarded, right? And so when you treat these women as disposable, that you can just, run through them like Tomb Raider, and it doesn't matter because they're insignificant, and they're still human beings. Even if they're seeking you out for the wrong reasons, you were equally seeking them out for the wrong reasons. So you guys are just two wrongs hooking up, hoping that it works out, right? And I feel like at this point, none of them are naive. There's too many ways to get that information. There's too many former athletes podcasts. There's too many cautionary tales. All of that. There's the Players Association. There is the Rookie Symposium, which I understand fine. It may not stick, but you went through it. You see it. You hear the conversations. So I just think it's an excuse to say, oh, they're being preyed upon. They seem to remember, like I said, when they're in the club and it comes to the wrong-looking chick coming to their table or something like that, they remember real quick, I'm not going to spend my money so that she could get a drink. You're not drinking for free on me. But they're not going to protect their swimmers like that? I don't know. It just seems to be a disconnect in priorities where it comes right there. Pretty Brown Mimi says everyone is saving everything. Audio, video recordings, text, DMs, etc. for extortion. I'm sorry, I meant insurance. You are 100% right. Because everybody's like, I need the proof. People are going to ask for the proof. So I need to have the proof right there. Tony Yayo says, Anthony Edwards dropped 32 points in Miami tonight. That's all that matters. For some, go hard, go off. Listen, Pretty Brown Mimi also says, black man, y'all got to put on your thinking caps with these white girls are on y'all's behinds. Hey, this is an all... I understand why you're saying that, Pretty Brown Mimi, but I don't think that this epidemic escapes color lines. I'm just going to be 100%. Anybody can get it. Now, what I will say is that sometimes some players will give more country to the exotic or the non-black woman and have less thoughts that they might be trying to manipulate them or get over on them. They might interact with them differently. Some, not all, some, not all, than they do with black women. Andy?
No, I just wanted to know if the girl that Anthony Edwards messed with was white.
She is, I'm not sure what she's not black though. Maybe she's mixed with something else. She's exotic. We'll put it like that, Could be Latina, could be Middle Eastern, Definitely has a BBL though. Kind of botched, but that's neither here nor there. When we come forward, we'll get into more details on this, plus more trending topics and headlines. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
We hope you have a safe and relaxing holiday season.
Mask up and stay safe.
At KBLA Talk 1580,
we've got a lot to talk about.
And your voice is critical to all the conversation. Happy holidays.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
Last minute shopping? Ulta Beauty has everything I need for everyone on my list. Ready to gift fragrance kits from YSL and Valentino, and the hottest gift sets from MAC, Tarte, and Lancome. Plus, everyone loves an Ulta Beauty gift card. Shop last minute gifts that will bring joy to everyone on your list. Hurry in store or place your online pickup order today. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe.
Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, like I said, one thing I always say when it comes to athletes, entertainers too, but they love a referral, right? So basically, I believe that your chances are enhanced in some ways with an athlete if you have been associated with another athlete, right? Why do I mention this? Because they tend to date and play in the same circles. Therefore, let's not act like these gentlemen don't talk. They talk quite a bit, actually. They talk a lot, right? So I just feel like really there is no reason to be irresponsible in this area when it comes down to it. It's really not. It's a simple choice. You know what you're dealing with. You know the type of woman you are likely dealing with. You target a certain type of woman for a reason. Why are you then surprised when said woman wants to complete the kit? You know, it's a kit. But we'll see what happens. Anthony said he's handling it privately. Jordan didn't say that, so perhaps she'll post again on her Insta story and let us know what the final outcome is, if that wire transfer actually went through. Part 2 to this, though, if you promise some money to a woman in these situations, pay them. Pay them, unless you really don't care about being exposed. If you don't, then that's another thing. But pay them. Makes things so much easier. Simple, right? Okay, listen. I mentioned that a G League player has been arrested for murder after a woman's death in Las Vegas. So the player's name, he plays for the Kings of the G League, the G League Kings. So basically they are Sacramento's G League team, but they are also called the Kings. I know, it's a little complicated, but you're following along fine, right? Right. Okay, so Chance Camache, he's 27. He was arrested on Friday after a first-degree kidnapping warrant was issued in Las Vegas. According to Las Vegas 8 News, he was taken to the Sacramento County Jail, and then on Sunday, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said in a statement that he and his girlfriend, Sakari Hardin, were facing open murder charges for the death of a woman. The case in question reportedly involves a woman named Mariana Rogers. She was 23 years old, a medical assistant from Washington State. Her relatives said that she was last seen December 6th during a visit to Las Vegas with friends. So the Stockton Kings, that's the Sacramento Kings G League team, they're located in Stockton, played the Henderson-based G League Ignite team on December 5th, the day before Rogers' reported appearance, right? Her remains were found in the desert outside of Las Vegas, and police say it's unclear what led to her death. But they said that Rogers and Hardin, that is the 19-year-old girlfriend, they had a prearranged meeting. So she was arrested first on first-degree kidnapping 2 days before Comanche was arrested as well. So I'm going to tell you what it sounds like. Oh, Hardin also has some unrelated theft charges that they mentioned from a separate case, which involve stealing a Rolex watch, right? They expect them to be arraigned on Tuesday, December 28th, a preliminary hearing, not an arraignment. So with the limited details that have been provided, it sounds like a setup for a good time weekend and something went wrong. Don't know that to be the case at all. Don't know anything. But the way that the police indicated a pre-arranged meeting and she was coming out when the boyfriend was going to be in town, listen, a lot of things, a lot of conversations. If you've learned anything over the past couple of months from the spate of lawsuits that have come out, people are a lot more open about some of their sexual interests and finding people to participate in them. It's a thing. So we'll have to see what happens. Forensic accountant says they found the body. Yes, they found the body buried just outside of Vegas. Not sure what led them to the body or how that all took place. The girlfriend who was arrested 2 days prior to Chance, she might have given up some information. She's only 19 years old. We'll have to see. But we will definitely keep our eye out on this one. He only played one game in the NBA. That was for the Portland Trail Blazers. I think it was last season before he was sent down to the G League. So we'll have to see how it turns out. Good luck with that. The Kings have released him. They provided no additional details. That is the Stockton Kings, the G League team. Just want to make sure that is correct. And we'll have to see what evolves from there, right? But listen, be safe out there. If you're going to link up with people, I can't believe these are still conversations, but of course they are. If you're going to link up with people that you've met on the internet or things of that nature, drop the location, drop the pin to someone you trust, to someone you love. Hopefully you have someone in your life that you can let know what's going on, because people are crazy and it's a dangerous world out there. Forensic accountant, which 19-year-old was attractive to me at 27? Not a single one. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into that. I understand your point with that, but it's a different time. They're different people. And listen, this 19-year-old might be doing different things than the 19-year-olds of your time. I'm not sure. I'm not saying these types of things didn't happen, but it probably took a lot more convincing than it does in this day and age. Now all it takes is a flick on Instagram and a trip. And, everybody thinks they're Lou Will back when he was with the Raptors. I don't know. I hope that justice is found for that young lady, though. And I hope that, some peace is brought to her parents. Okay. So if you were planning on buying an smartwatch, an Apple Watch, for Christmas, you better hurry up, right? Apple is going to stop selling the latest versions of their smartwatches in the U.S. due to a patent dispute. And they're going to be taking some of the best-selling devices off the market during the holiday season, right? So the Apple Watch Series 9 and the Ultra 2 sales will be haunted from the company's online store starting December 21st and at their retail locations beginning on Christmas Eve. The company is said to be preparing for a looming battle against regarding basically the blood oxygen sensor that is located inside the watch. It was a feature that was added in 2020. The International Trade Commission ruled in October that Apple violates Masimo patents and would need to halt sales of the infringing devices, right? So the patents relate to how the watch calculates the person's blood oxygen saturation. So until they sort that out, right, they're going to take them off the market, at least here in the United States. And from there, Apple is just taking advanced precautions to ensure that in case they are told to remove them, they're in compliance and they have some replacements. We'll have to see what comes of that. Masimo's, I think Massimo, that's a better way, patented pulse oximetry technology measures the blood oxygen. It said that they took part in the legal process, and they're right, basically. So we'll have to see what happens. It's hard going up against a giant. Listen, in hour 3, we're going to get into this Jonathan Majors story with Marvel dropping him. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Of course, more trending topics and headlines, because there are a lot. We still haven't gotten through everything. And, listen, I might, well, we'll see. I'll tell you about it on the other side. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
One day he goes and takes a glimpse in the mirror, but he doesn't recognize his own face. His health is fading and he doesn't know why. 3 letters took him to his final resting place. You don't hear me.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's